Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Oh, not good news. Reason simple. COVID, Biden, some COVID, supply chain, a little bit more Biden, people not feeling comfortable. How about this? 2% sharp downturn, consumer spending. Hoping and praying that there's going to be a jump. But when you go and look, okay, so obviously last year, huge quarter two last year. Quarter one. I'm giving you guys this. That's what you guys understand something. Everybody has been through something here, right? We all have. We want a scapegoat, and it's not all Biden. Somebody tweeted at me and said, you should be easier on the guy, and then it goes into the last, how horrible and evil Trump was. And I don't care. Trump's not here. You're the guy. You wanted to be the guy. If you do good, I say you do good. If you do bad, I'm going to say you do bad. Right now, you know what you are? You're worse than trying. You're not acknowledging. First quarter last year, GDP down 5.1%. 31.2% second quarter. Third quarter up 33.8%. Then we had 4.5%. Then we had 6.3%. Then we had 6.7%. And then a sharp decline to 2% quarter three. Yeah, not good. Not good. Remember, everybody wants to look at somebody and say, you wanted the job, you got the job. You wanted to be the leader, you got the job. You have to take some responsibility in this. Well, who does he go to when he wants to say whose fault it is?
I ran against Donald Trump, and Terry is running against an acolyte of Donald Trump. Now he doesn't want to talk about Trump anymore. Well, Donald Trump, I do. To Donald Trump, the word Trump, like Trump did this. To Trump, former President Trump, Donald Trump, I love this one. Donald Trump to Donald Trump, that's to Donald Trump. Now Donald Trump, loyally to Trump, and with Trump, that's who Donald Trump is.
Come on.
Donald Trump.
We're having fun with that, but that was last night, all kind of thrown together. It's Donald Trump's fault. Everything is somebody else's fault. Once again, I go back to this. Where is the real person who's going to come out and say, look, here's the deal. We got issues. You know that. I know that. It ain't being solved overnight. We have a chance to really rebound here in the fourth quarter. It isn't going to be perfect. We're still going to be missing some things that we vitally need when it comes to our supply chain, and that's going to make for some people to be frustrated. But the reality is this is a marathon, not a sprint, but we only live in the world of sprints, and that's a problem for a lot of people. We're judging each in this marathon. We're judging each person and situation based on every 100 yards. But at the end of the day, people want to know you're there for them, even if there's not a lot you can do. You offer a shoulder. All the years I traded in commodities, let me tell you something. The one thing I learned early on, my buddy Bobby Stokes told me this. He said, Chad, you may make a bad trade, cost somebody a lot of money. They may make bad trades on their own and cost themselves money. No matter what happens, who did it, they want to know at least that you're there. I don't feel like he's here. And I'm not talking about physically or mentally. I just don't feel like he's paying the attention that I think he should be paying, because he's listening to people probably tell him, don't address that, don't address this, don't do that. I'm not here to bash Biden. This is not what that is. This is pointing out the reality. I don't hate the guy. But I think right now, he's all over the place. Look at your polls, but look at also what people are worried about. It's always the economy, stupid. Because as the economy goes, so go we. If you have money to spend, you'll go and spend it. If you're spending money, somebody's making money. Because somebody's spending money with you. It's the circle of fiscal life. GDP, that's not good. And trust me, Wall Street and everybody else, they'll look at this stuff. And I go back to, is Wall Street the great indicator of stuff? There are things that you look at. Consumer confidence is one of the number one things I always look at. Wall Street can be a red herring loss leader. It's great for you in the long run because obviously you've got money there. A lot of people do. 401ks, things that I try. I love when people say, I don't have any money in Wall Street. I'm like, do you have a 401k? Yeah. Well, what do you think that money is? In some sort of special 401k thing? No. Stocks and stuff like that. But, and this is really, you look at consumer confidence. People feel like they can spend money. That's great. They'll go out and spend it. If they don't, or they're uneasy, they'll clutch it. They'll hold on to it. And when that starts to happen, everything slows down. Right now, there's a struggle. There is. And I think people would like to know, are you there or are you not there? Can you at least dress it? Not Jen Psaki, but you. And not in the middle or the end of some sort of other thing that you're doing where you throw something out. I think the best thing that he could do is on like a Tuesday night, a Wednesday night, have one of those Oval Office things. Come out and address the people. If you don't want to take questions for 10 minutes, lay some stuff out that gives the people a feeling that you're pulling and not fighting over this, the infrastructure bills on how much we're going to spend when people are worried about spending today. And by that, I mean putting gas in their car. And by that, I mean making sure there's food on their table and that their business is going to stay afloat. Not because of what took place last year, but because now they're looking at the supply chain and the confidence of people and they're thinking, I don't know if this is going to happen. And speaking of business and employment,
new jobless claims fell to a pandemic low last week, down 10,000 to 281,000, the lowest level since March of last year. A total of 2.2 million people were collecting unemployment checks. That's down from 7.7 million a year earlier. Hiring slowed last month to just 194,000 new jobs after averaging over 600,000 a month for the first 8 months of the year. But part of that's because companies can't find enough people to fill job openings. There were over 10 million job openings in August. That's the second most since 2000.
Yeah. Companies are doing everything they can to try to find people in some areas. IT, that's booming. People are heading to IT because they're looking and they're going, you know what? It's about the future. I was telling my son yesterday because we were talking about his grades, and he got pretty decent grades. And he got an F in he has like a home ec class, but his aunt was getting married and he couldn't be there for the first the two first things that he had to do that was like a baking thing or whatever. And so we were, like his mom and I were like, she gets that, the lady, she goes, he'll pull that grade up, but that was part of it because it's so early in the year. But he's getting an A in math. And I told him last night, I said this straight out to him. You can get an F in everything else. I don't want you to. But if you told me you got straight A's in math and that was the only thing, I'd be like, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. IT media jobs, booming. Other jobs, not so much. People look at engineers. Good opportunity. Really good. The money's good. I'll tell you this right now, and especially with the chance of maybe having the infrastructure deal passed, you'll be all right, right? You're going to see some growth. Not the human infrastructure, the actual infrastructure. But when it comes to other jobs, and we're going to talk about this in a little while, companies are trying to do anything at all to get people, including talking to their customers. It's the economy. If people feel good, it's about their paycheck. They'll feel more confident about a lot of other things. if they feel good that they know tomorrow their job's still going to be there and that there's room for growth and that they're going to feel better. It puts a little pep in their step. Things don't matter as much. But when it all goes south, and right now people are looking, they're worried about making money, and they're seeing inflation. It's a double whammy. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. A lot of stuff to squeeze in today, including that job thing I was just talking about, what companies are trying to do. But what Starbucks is getting ready to do, too, is very, very interesting. And I'm here to tell you guys right now. I had 2 people last night tell me if this happens the way they say it's going to happen, I'm quitting my job. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. And I'll tell you what, I can see why people would, and I'm going to tell you why for some people, not just at Starbucks, but across the board, it's going to be not great for them. Raycon, best earbuds around. Love my Raycons. Incredible. So right now, right, you get 45-day happiness guarantee. Fantastic. And you're going to be very happy after 45 days, after 90 days, after 180 days. You're going to love your Raycons. And the reason's simple. First of all, slick, new, like this oily look and feel. It's incredible, right? Like it's just, it's got this rubber oil look that's, you know what I mean? Like that matte black or blue. It's so cool. Top of that, optimized gel tips, perfect in-ear fit. But then you get 3 new sound profiles: pure mode, balanced mode, bass mode. Pure mode, podcast, blues, instrumental, balance, podcast, rock, heavy metal, alt. Bass mode, hip hop, EDM, reggae. I'm telling you guys right now, the best earbuds around. 8 hours of playtime, 32-hour battery life, half the price of other premium earbuds. Free shipping in the United States. No issues, if you will, with anyone? Supply chain. Right now, Chad Benson Show listeners, 15% off. The best earbuds around. No stems, no wires. The Raycons. Get your Raycons now. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. Save 15%. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. You can save yourself 15% right there. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
I usually don't get into politics. As an ordinary suburban housewife, I feel a little disrespected. I teach my children not to name call.
You are a blabbermouth!
Come on, man.
Guys, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum?
Chad Benson.
Coronavirus is still there. The battle goes on. It's not just here, by the way. Can I say this? You give an inch, take a yard. For all those people out there who get mad at people who say, you know, they enjoy their freedoms and stuff, because I'll say this. I think that you should seriously consider getting the shot. Again, it's the shot. It is not the vaccine that we would think of as a vaccine. It's like the flu shot. Treat it as such. I would seriously say, you have a chance, go get it. If somebody offered me a chance to take a flu shot today so I'd have to get the stomach flu, I'd do it all day long. Because I hate that. But there are issues out there where around the world you see what some of these leaders believe that they are and what they're doing. This is Jacinda Ardern. She's the Prime Minister of New Zealand. They're talking about the vaccinated and unvaccinated. What have I said? The clean and uncleaned.
You basically said this is going to be like, well, it's almost like, you probably don't see it like this, the 2 different classes of people. If you're vaccinated or if you're unvaccinated, you have all these rights. If you are vaccinated...
That is what it is. So, yep.
Wow, you have all of these rights, and the others don't. Give an inch, take a yard. And because so many people want to feel secure, they're willing to do that. They're willing to surrender certain things. And because so many other people out there feel that they don't have to do certain things because they, you know, let me tell you something. I go back to this. Well, the Constitution, I will tell you, when it comes to health, government has a wide swath to do certain things. We should respect freedoms, and we can respect each other. This thing isn't going anywhere. And it's funny, again, so you're a different class of people in New Zealand if you don't get the vaccine.
My concern is that if we allow there to be smoldering infection into the fall and into the winter because those 93 million people are not getting vaccinated, you may allow a variant that we haven't even recognized yet to come along and, in fact, be better at transmitting and more serious than the Delta. We haven't seen that yet.
Well, are unvaccinated people the reason we're seeing these new strains?
The answer is short. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's say we got everybody in America vaccinated. The world's nowhere close to being vaccinated. And remember, we're never going to eliminate this because we're not vaccinating every animal on the planet. And it can jump between. We learn to live with this thing, through this thing, and around this thing, but most importantly, above this. But when you hear that, again, two people who look at other people who've made a decision based on what they feel was right for themselves as the clean and unclean. That's not good. It's not. I think we all know that. I think it's time for Fauci to go, and we've talked about this. Not because I think he's a bad guy. I just think his waffling, his lying about all of the things that he knew was going on, with Eco Health Alliance and the Wuhan lab, all of those things, even when he was doing stuff where he says, well, I was trying to do it so, not everybody went out and bought the mask or this. It's time for a new voice. But you need somebody who's going to be a stabilizing voice that isn't going to demonize a side that chooses not to get vaccinated, or a side that even gets vaccinated but chooses not to play this game of mandates. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Telling you guys, it's the economy. I keep saying that. You guys get it. You understand. You're smart. You guys are. Majority of you are smart. Some of you are very smart. Other of you are very emotional. Very emotional. But it is the economy. And right now, there's some things happening in the economy. It was an employer's market for a very long time. It's an employee's market right now. But the interesting thing that's happening is that may not be good for, I'm going to say this, low-skilled wages and people that are starting in the job market world. So if you don't have a lot of skills, for whatever reason, people skills being a huge part of it, which is the most they should give college degrees to people who have people skills. And the other side is the entry-level people. And you may be older entry-level. Maybe you were married for a long time and your husband or wife passed away or whatever, and you needed to go back to work. But I'm just talking about the entry-level, low skills, no skills kind of thing. Starbucks is doing something very interesting.
Starbucks is increasing pay for all U.S. workers to at least $15 an hour and up to $23 an hour, depending on years of service, early next year. It's the third time in less than 2 years the company's increased pay, and it comes on the heels of some well-publicized attempts by Starbucks workers to form unions. A group calling itself Starbucks Workers United has filed petitions with the National Labor Relations Board asking permission for union votes. Starbucks says it respects workers' right to organize, but doesn't think a union is necessary.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons they're doing it. But think about this for a second. Let's say you make $36,000 a year and you're working at a job where you got some decent benefits, but you're making, maybe, between your husband makes, 36 grand, you make $72,000, nothing to sneeze at. It's about the average. But there's responsibility with your job. There's responsibility. And across the street, they're offering nearly the same thing to flip hamburgers, and you're like, I could do that. Wait, I could do that and have zero responsibility? I'm not taking my work home with me. I'm not answering emails late at night. I none of that stuff? Really? And there'll be room for growth because I know I'm a little bit sharper than some of those people. Oh, yeah. That's what's going to be interesting to see some of these people. Yesterday, a couple of my friends who work in radio said, man, if they started paying $20 an hour, $22 an hour, whatever, I'd think about going over there. What the hell not? Why wouldn't I? And I have no responsibility outside of that. I got zero responsibility. I don't have to take my work home with me. I don't have to do any of that stuff, right? I do my flat 8 and I bounce. It's not, because the business we're in, producer Anthony, it's a 24/7 job. Me, it's a 24/7 job. It's not the minute you get here and the minute you leave. And it's a lot of that for a lot of other people out there. It's a all the time position, it feels. But people are desperate. They're desperate to try to get people to work, especially in jobs that you would think, I would never do that. But then you always say, well, hold on a second. Maybe I make near about the same and I don't have any responsibility. Like, I don't have to, there's no real, I'm not answering emails late at night. I'm not having to, put fires out because somebody did this. I'm not having, it's just flat 8 and bounce.
Would you like fries with that? Or how about a job? A fast food chain is pitching not just fried chicken, but employment opportunities to every customer they serve.
When restaurants all over town are looking for workers,
I'll call your name when it's ready, okay?
it's time to think outside the to-go box. Raising Cane's employees are approaching customers at their Naperville dining room and drive-thru, asking them to apply and even handing out these cards.
Well, if you know anybody who's looking for a job, we're starting at $15 an hour. How much do you make it at your job now?
Again, start at 15, but it's funny that, that doesn't, you're not raising a family of 4 on that. But at the same time, it's like, man, if I'm making $18 an hour, and you're a roofer, or I can make $16 an hour and I could work at a fast food place and I don't have to worry about falling off the roof and I don't have to worry about working in a nasty climate. And I'm not an idiot. Things to think about. And they are desperate. I went to, producer Anthony was visiting me a couple weeks ago. Came on out. He's on a vagabond tour. Currently, he finds himself in Atlanta, near Atlanta, Georgia, on his world tour of the Anthony playing sold-out venues all over the house. But we went to Cracker Barrel, and I was talking to the manager up front. And I said, so how short are you? And she goes, based on what we have right now, and what we should have, we're 35 short. And I said, oh. She goes, but holiday season and the snowbirds were 70 short. 70 short. 70. I said, what happened to the people? She goes, once we had to shut down for a while, about 75% of our staff, when we said we're reopening, said, nah, I don't want to do this anymore. And they've moved on to other things. You're like, oh, wow, that's a trip. No, they'd moved on, and early on when they reopened, people were still getting money, so they weren't quite, and they weren't worried about losing their place. So they weren't running out to get back to work. But then afterwards, they'd started looking elsewhere. They took some opportunities elsewhere. Some of them also, and this is something, but people say, where did the people go? I'll tell you right now. It's a world of hustle. It is a world of hustle. If you can hustle a little bit and you got some brains, you don't have to have a job. You can do several different little things and do okay. It's one of our guys here who is an up-and-coming kind of program director. We were talking yesterday because he said, because he, like anything goes, he had his one of his one-on-ones yesterday. And we were chatting, and I said, what would you do if you didn't do this? He goes, man, because on the side, he's been flipping baseball cards and PS5s just for fun money, and he's killing it. And he said, right, really, man? He goes, right now? He goes, if I wasn't doing this, he goes, I could go probably make as much, if not more money, flipping baseball cards. And he doesn't even flip them in the sense where he goes through them all. And he goes and buys a box for $40 and he sells it for $110. Never even opens it. Doing it all the time, having a laugh. That's where a lot of people went. So getting some people to come back in a situation where they're going to feel like they're boxed in is going to be tough.
Tell them we're paying well.
Colby Leday is one of about 100 Dallas-based employees who are temporarily relocated to help with recruitment efforts. He's on the corporate staff, but a couple weeks ago he hopped behind the register so the Naperville dining room could stay open on a Friday night.
We're so understaffed that most areas we can't open the dining room, or we're just drive-through only, or we have to close earlier than our normal business hours.
Raising Cane's says they've hired about 4,000 people across the country, still looking to hire about 6,000 more.
I need a dependable job. I need something consistent.
Yeah. And these things are there. So when I was talking to this lady, she looks at me and she goes, you interested? You want a job? And I go, I already have enough jobs. She goes, if you know anybody, she goes, even if you have no serving experience, you can do really well. Really well. And I'm like, damn. But if you think about it, because, servers right now and cooks and stuff, because there is this exodus of this industry, there are people making great money, best money they've made in years. And a lot of people make good money anyways. And the beauty of it is, still, I go back to this, no responsibility. No responsibility. And I'm not saying responsibility is great, but it's the like when you go home, if you're a really good server and you made a couple $100 in tips and you go home, you're not having to serve somebody at your house. Oh yeah, never even thought of that. It's interesting. But also you're going to get to a place where I think when you start moving wages to a certain level, it will eventually ass out people with low skills and no skills. And the no skills thing, that's because, these younger kids and a lot of people who really new into the market, they need some of that. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But if you could, would you, right? If you had the chance to go today, and let's just say you made $45,000 a year, right? I'm just throwing it up there. And you could be an assistant manager or just a cook, a person who is, is running the dining room and serving people and stuff. You'd think about it, wouldn't you? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. Hey, in those jobs, you bust your butt. There's no doubt about that. But you also know that you go home, you don't have to answer 55 emails. You don't have to do a lot of different things that people do when it comes to how we work nowadays. I think there's sometimes people just want the no pressure. And if you get to a point where you're starting to price jobs, if you will, where you can make decent money and the pressure's really not there, you watch. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. We know that. Give it to my dogs every single day. So here's the thing with Rough Greens, right? It's got vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-369. It is a supplement. Sprinkle on top of your dog's food, and it brings your dog's food to life. I give it to my dog, Doodle. Somebody asked me yesterday, how's Doodle? I said, he's alive and kicking, which is much better than he would have been based on the fact that he was, a pain in my butt, and we thought we were going to have to put him to sleep in reality. We thought there was nothing we can do to keep him happy and healthy. We're going to have to put him to sleep. But we started giving him rough greens, and here we are well over, oh my God, we're almost 2 years into giving him rough greens. He's healthier, he's happier, he's bouncier than he has ever been, and I love that. Sprinkle on top of your dog's food. Watch what happens. They'll love the taste, and what it'll do for their joints, their digestive enzymes, everything is amazing. RUFFgreens.com/Chad. roughgreens.com/Chad. You go there, they're going to send you back for free. You pay nothing outside of shipping. Try it. roughgreens.com/Chad. Call 833-MY-DOG-77. 833-MY-DOG-77. All right. It's time for another Scary Movie Countdown. We're at number 2 today. We shall deliver that to you straight ahead in Chad's Scary Movie Countdown. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
That's right. Come meet the real like that. Football tonight, Thursday night. Some people are calling it the biggest Thursday night football game ever. So out here in Phoenix, 7-0, the Cardinals not getting the respect that they deserve. A lot of people feel that way. The only undefeated team in the NFL, led by Mighty Mouse. But they welcome in the Pack and their fans. Yesterday, there were pictures all over the valley of cheeseheads everywhere. They're saying anywhere between, right now, it's funny, all the seats that are on the websites, you know, like Vivid Seats and all these kind of things, 19% of the purchases are from Packer fans in Wisconsin flying out here to watch the game. So it'll be a big game tonight, but the Packers are shorthanded, big time. Their number 1 and 2 weapons, even though Aaron Rodgers is amazing, is gone. Decent tight end, best quarterback, arguably in the NFL, not named Brady or Mahomes. And if you were to tell me, you know, I mean, you look at him, it's hard to argue he's not the best quarterback, period, outside of what Brady does. But, you know, gifted-wise, there's nobody else like him. But you're going up against Mighty Mouse and this resurgent team that's come out of nowhere. The end of the day, though, you lose your 2 big wide receivers. The only thing is, big injury, J.J. Watt, done for the season. Soldier, I don't know what happened to his shoulder. Apparently, he's going to have surgery, but something happened. He played the rest of the game. That guy can never stay healthy, but I still think the Cards get it done tonight. That is my pick. Thursday Night Football. Got the rest of the picks so far this year. Just to let you know, 72-36. It is the scariest time of the year. You guys know I love horror movies. I watched The Exorcist last night. I actually tweeted about it. Still love that movie. But we're into number 2. So we counted down. Now we're heading to number 2.
Welcome to Chad's Halloween countdown of the best horror movies of all time. You've already heard 10 through 3. Now it's time to hear number 2. And it's a classic that is still going to this day. Halloween.
Halloween night. A small American town, 15 years ago.
Michael?
Halloween.
I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
Halloween. The night he came home.
Love this movie. This, again, we're going on scare factors, but a little bit of just my favorite. This is my favorite movie, period. Favorite movie. I love Halloween. A lot of different reasons. First of all, give you some background of the story. First Halloween movie made for $300,000. John Carpenter, Deborah Hill, they do the music. This is their theme that's simple and easy. Michael Myers in the original was played by 5 people, 6 if you want to count Will Sandon, who played the original Michael, the kid who does the stabbing. The whole thing is interesting. Filmed near Pasadena. They painted the leaves to make it look like fall. They never once call him Michael Myers. When you see the credits, it just says The Shape. You know about all the other things, William Mask. The William Shatner mask is the actual mask itself. It's just a movie that continues to go to this day. Case in point, the latest film that's out and still crushing the box office. Halloween Kills. Next year, Halloween Ends, which we know it won't based on the box office. But it's a money-making machine. That's your number 2. The Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
All the people are asking Biden is do something. Easier said than done. I get it. But at least acknowledge it. Acknowledge the fact that things aren't going the way that you want them to go. Part of the reason that we are so divided is we can't be honest. We can't be honest. Little honesty here would go a long way. For the average person, look, there's always going to be a divide. There always will be a divide. People will always have differing points of view when it comes to politics. But the exhaustive majority, which I think is growing every day, 60, 70, now I think we're up to about 75, 80%. Let's just be honest, man. I'm not looking for you to solve problems. I'm looking for you to acknowledge the problems. And by that, I mean, yes, there are problems you're going to have to try to solve, and the government is clunky at best doing some of those things. But the acknowledgement of them is a helper. GDP last month, 2%. 2%. That's not a win. It's not. I hear him talking about it never. He talks about the human infrastructure plan. The infrastructure plan's done. Remember, there are 2 infrastructure plans. By the way, the human infrastructure plan is, I don't even know what it is at this point in time. It's like we're just spending $1 trillion on stuff. I don't know. But people would like a little acknowledgement about what's going on. They want to know you're in it with them. That's it. You're in it with us. Right? You're getting it. You're in it with us. That's what they're looking for. What could he do? Well, he's going to have to figure out, because I don't know what he has at his disposal at this moment in time. Oil and gas prices through the roof. Could we release some of our strategic? We're not going to do that. Could we threaten to? Could we put our friends in OPEC? I say that with a grin. Can we put a little pressure on them a little bit more? Yeah. By the way, gas price over the last 20 years. And so the global average is double, 60% a liter to $1.20 per liter. So that you've seen that. We get that. It's what's taken place over the last several months that has people truly worried, because every mile a truck runs to bring something, whether it's to a manufacturer or to a end place market, that's costing more. It's costing more to get the stuff to the manufacturer. It's costing more to produce it, because a lot of the stuff that's produced, there's petroleum and things. All of this stuff adds up. What can you do? And address it. These are the measures we're taking. This is what I'm going to do. See, here's the thing about the Fed. The Fed for years has kind of played this game of, I'll play around with interest rates. We're going to try to do everything we can to fight inflation, and we'll get it. And now they've got it to the point where we're basically zero interest rates. So there's not a lot playing around that you're going to be able to do at this moment in time. So you're going to have to figure something else out. You have to think outside the box. People are looking around, asking these questions, and they want to feel like you're with them. And when you're addressing the media, which is very rare, it's about the infrastructure bill. And in passing, you might mention something, but not really. You're treating this kind of like you're treating the border, as it doesn't exist. It does. And then the job side of things, because it's always the economy, stupid.
New jobless claims fell to a pandemic low last week, down 10,000 to 281,000, the lowest level since March of last year. A total of 2.2 million people were collecting unemployment checks. That's down from 7.7 million a year earlier. Hiring slowed last month to just 194,000 new jobs after averaging over 600,000 a month for the first 8 months of the year. But part of that's because companies can't find enough people to fill job openings. There were over 10 million job openings in August. That's the second most since 2000.
So now it's time to be the thing you wanted to be, which is the man. The buck stops with you. It's time to figure out what you need to do. Again, you're not fixing everybody's problems. And if you believe government is the answer to all of your problems, that's a problem. But what can you do to move things forward, to grease the wheels, to get things moving in a way where we're even starting to feel confident that this is going in the right direction? Because I think if you ask the average person right now, they're thinking, I don't think things are going in the right direction. You gotta mess with the economy, especially with inflation. People are feeling that. You got a hot mess at the border. Afghanistan was a nightmare, not his fault. Coronavirus has become another landmine for politicians. It never really went away. It just changed. It went from the guy who ignored it, got pissed at it, tried to talk his way out of it, to a guy that's overreached, pushed, and now has just as much been a divider when it comes to that. And all of a sudden, you're looking and going, we have the vaccine, and at the same time, still more people have passed away under it. Well, it's all the Republicans that died. I get that, but understand, it's time to start addressing these things. Rather than in small sound bites, go out and take him head on. I want my president to succeed. Don't care who he or she is. But what I do care is you need to participate. My biggest issue with Trump when it came to the coronavirus was, yes, he flopped all over everywhere when it came to the coronavirus, and it frustrated the hell out of me. But my biggest issue in many cases was, as the same thing here with Doug Ducey is, I felt like you weren't in it. Now with Trump, it got so ridiculous that those press conferences were a battleground, which was no fun. But a lot of governors, they just kind of ignored it. And people want to feel like you're in it with them. Because at times you feel like we're a rudderless ship. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. All that being said, the battle still going on when it comes to his get out and get me mansion and cinema. Get them to jump over here and let's get this stuff signed off. We got to get them. And of course, at the heart of so much of this is taxes. Progressives are not going to be happy watching this thing drop down from $6 trillion down to $1.5 trillion, $1.9 trillion. Who knows what's going to be in the final thing? But of course, there's always the how do we make it affordable, meaning whose taxes do we raise to pay for everybody else's free stuff?
there should be a 15% patriotic tax. But we've said, and we've all agreed on a 15% corporate tax. People in the stratosphere, rather than trying to penalize them, we ought to be pleased that this country is able to produce the wealth. But with that, there's a patriotic duty that you should be paying something to this great country to give you the protection and the support and the opportunities. That's called a patriot. A patriotic tax will be nothing that we should be scorned about. It doesn't harm anybody. I'm supporting basically that everyone should pay their fair share.
Yeah, Manchin. Okay. Look, I think if you want to fix the tax world, you fix the tax system. We're mad at individuals who took advantage of things that were in front of everybody. And then we're like, well, you should do more. If you don't want them to have that, then you remove those. But you won't, because you also know you're going to get way too much pushback from the people who give you money to help keep you in power.
And it's really these two Senate holdouts, Sinema and Manchin. Are you frustrated with them?
I'm respectful of everybody's point of view. I don't want the Trump tax cuts perpetuated. So I don't want anybody to think if we don't address those right now that they're off the table. No, we will use them for something at some point, because you can't use the wealth tax and tax the billionaires, which is what we should be doing, and let corporate America off the hook.
Yeah, well, those billionaires are corporate America. I think we already know that. It goes back, though, I keep saying this, fix the tax system. Streamline it. Watch what happens. But understand that every time that you think that these, and the Democrats want, we're going to do this, this, and this, the same people that give to the right give to the left in many ways. And you know what they're saying? No, you're not. Not if you want my backing. No, you're not. Not if you want me to keep jobs here. No, you're not. No, you're not. Maybe they take a new approach. How about that? We're going to talk about that. What should be the new approach? We're going to go back a ways. Back a ways. A little bit later, talk about the new approach that might be something that you could think about if you're this president. Again, participate. So people are asking. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. MyPillow has the best sheets around. They're called the Giza Dream Sheets. Incredible sheets. Long staple cotton, grown in a part of the Mediterranean between thy sea, the Nile River, and the Sahara Desert. It is incredible. So what are these things? Well, first of all, the way that they put it together with their patented technology made these things almost with a sateen feel. It's like sleeping on a million thread. You slide in. Never going to sleep too hot, never going to sleep too cold. King, queen, double, twin, you name it, they've got it. On top of that, they've got tons of colors, 60-day money-back guarantee, 1-year limit to warranty. Right now, your chance to buy one, get one free. Boom! No supply chain issues. Buy one, get one free. Giza Dream Sheets. MyPillow.com, radio listener special. Click on it. When you go there, type in code Benson, start saving. Deals on the MyPillow, the Giza Dream Sheets, to buy one, get one free. You got the towels, you've got the slippers, you've got the mattress topper, you name it. Use code Benson to save big. Buy one, get one free. Giza Dream Sheets, MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Hashtag me too. Hashtag immigration reforms. Hashtag help. I'm trapped in a hashtag factory and I can't get out. The Chad Benson Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending.
What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending?
Let us talk about what's trending. Start at the Twitter's verse. Let's do it. A.G. Merrick testified for Senate Judiciary Committee. A lot of stuff yesterday. A lot of the usual 5-second sound bites, screaming and yelling, everybody grabbing their glory, defending him or attacking him. The usual stuff that goes on in situations like that. Tiger King 2 trailer debuted yesterday. Yes, there will be a Tiger King 2. Be prepared for that. If you've not seen it, check it out. It's actually kind of interesting. Top of that, Kyle Beach comes forward as John Doe in the Chicago Blackhawks sexual abuse scandal. We'll touch on this a little bit later, but just know that here was a guy who was playing in the NHL, and he was sexually abused and attacked by a coach. And it is out there now. Everybody knew what went on. The investigation has come out, and the Blackhawks are definitely having issues with that. Buzz Lightyear debuted yesterday. If I ask you who Buzz Lightyear is, voice-wise, you would say Tim Allen. No, it's Chris Evans. A lot of people are going, I feel this is a political move. Maybe. Wouldn't be surprised. Head over to Google. Yes, the Shiba Inu coin is soaring to record highs. Yes, it is. Coinbase also being trendy. Indeed. La Liga soccer. Ronald Koeman, the Dutch coach who was coaching Barcelona, was fired yesterday in the wake of another loss. Apparently that Messi guy was really good. Apparently, but you can't afford him, so he moved on. Ooh, that's weird. J.J. Watt trending, as well as the Cards and the Packers tonight, Thursday night game. J.J. Watt will undergo potential season-ending surgery. Oh, yeah. That's crazy, but true. Very true. And Merrick Garland, California school board member, president, on a hot mic, heard saying F you to a concerned parent who questioned the vaccines for children and masks in classrooms. That person, for some, is a hero and for others, a villain, because that's what we do now. We find heroes and villains out of things. Should a parent have the opportunity to say, you know what, I have some questions about this? Absolutely. And then make the decision that's best for them and their children. I have no problems with that. The school will have their opportunity to decide what they want to do as well. Maybe, rather than arguing over some of this stuff right now, we say, look, guys, we're going to have this. We got enough room here and enough teachers that we can split some stuff up for a while if that's the way it needs to be. You mean segregate? Yeah. If that's since people are worried about what the other day they were talking about was at Delta United, like we might have vaccinated and unvaccinated planes. I'm like, oh my God. They're like, which one would you fly on, Chad? I'm like, the unvaccinated one sounds probably a lot funner. I'm just going to say, it feels like that's the one that's having the party. And the other one feels like a bunch of uppity people. I'm just saying. And let's be real. At the end of the day, you're still going to choose it on price. Because that's what we do. It's like, all right, here's the deal. This plane over here, it's $833 to fly round trip plus taxes. You're like, oh, that's a little expensive. This one over here, it's $410. There's 3 stops, and you may catch the Ebola virus. I'll take my chances. That's us. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program, Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
That is us. Hope you are well. Let me tell you something right now. Biden's got issues. We all know that. If you want him to fail, you're an idiot. Do you want him to fail because you think your Yahweh is going to be repurposed and put back into the presidency? No. All that being said, at the rate they're going, that failure is on its way faster than I think people realize. The question is now, how does he go about fixing this? You know, the big thing is always about taxes, right? It's taxes. If the wealthy just paid their fair share, if they just paid more money, we just got to get everybody to pay more money. Let's just pay.
We've been very clear. We need to see the two bills simultaneously move together. Yep. If there is urgency in getting BIF done, the senators need to understand that urgency as well and move as urgent as they want us to move.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, Rep. Omar. Why didn't you put everything together? Just curious. Why didn't you put it all together? Because you knew if you put it together, it was going to die. And you thought, you know what? We'll give, because we got to have the Republic. We can't just be, they do theirs, we do ours, they do theirs, we do ours. We have to have some common ground. And so they got 19 Republicans to go, you know what? 1.2 trillion on real infrastructure, which we need badly. Okay. But you also knew you wanted to spend a ton of money. You started out way up there at like 4,000 quadrillion bazillion. It was $6 trillion. Now you're down to 1.5, maybe 1.9. It started with family paid leave, like 12 weeks. Now it's down to nope. Right? Free college. And it's like, nope. Junior college. Sorry. Free 13th and 14th grade. It's not very nice, Chad. They want to spend. It's about the money. You're asking the wrong questions to the wrong people. I always say, you know, everything in this package is a completely, he said package. Everything in this spending package, everybody in America loves it. Its ratings are through the roof. Of course. Wait, you're going to tell people you're going to give them all kinds of free stuff? And they like it? What? So you're going to get, you're lying. No, really? Oh, wow. Hey, just out of curiosity, somebody's going to pay for it, right? So what's that look like? And then you get to see how the sausage is made, and then all of a sudden, a lot of that goes. It's never about the money and the amount. For me, it's about how you spend it. How you spend it. When you have an unlimited pool of money and no accountability, who doesn't want that? If I told you today, for all intents and purposes, you could never fail and you wanted to try several things and you had an unlimited amount of money and zero accountability, you'd be like, this is amazing. Welcome to politics. Welcome to politics. This fight, though, it isn't going anywhere because the progressives are not going to be happy. They're not going to be happy because there's not enough in here for the social spending. And the people that are going to be pushing those progressives, the AOCs of the world, the Ilhan Omars, even though they're saying, oh, this looks good, it still won't be enough.
Passing BIF alone, I do not think is a positive climate message. I think having and agreeing on a plan to draw down emissions and invest in environmental justice in this country is what we want to send the president to Glasgow with.
What the hell's environmental justice?
There's been so many changes in this process, so many people, yes, no, doing the hokey pokey, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So we need certainty that we're going to be able to deliver.
Certainty. Climate. Hokey pokey. Everybody wants theirs. Everybody wants theirs. And everybody, those words are great. There's key words, right? Like if when you go and you hashtag, it's the same thing for hearing. equity, inclusion, justice. Oh, those are good words. Yeah, but it depends on the words around them, on whether or not they're good. Right? Then when you start to see, oh, okay, how are they going to pay for it? You got to go out. You're going to pitch, hey, you know what? All right, here's the deal. Now we're going to, if you make over $10 million, we're going to ask you to give you some, some of that money. With revenues in business worlds, if you have $2 trillion over a decade, we're going to ask that you throw some of that. We're going to call it the Patriot. I mean, they're looking for something. Why not just go to the people and say, look, guys, what could we do to have you take some of that money, not look like a-holes, not fight it, not call it a tax? What can we do? And how can we work together on this without blowing up the tax system? Because that's just not going to happen. Where's the happy medium in this world? Well, have you ever, anybody ever thought, well, maybe, back in the day, in the early 1900s, you had the then Teslas and the Bezoses and the Rockefellers and the Carnegies and the J.P. Morgans. And there was times when presidents would just go to them and say, can you help us out? It's like, what? Yeah. It's not a fix. Part of the fix begins with the fact that there's zero accountability with the way that spending is. We still haven't spent all the Corona bucks that we produced. We still haven't spent a lot of the money from not the first, second, or third stimulus from the coronavirus. How about we hold some things accountable? We start looking at a lot of these agencies that are duplicate agencies on top of duplicate agencies, start holding them accountable and spending our money a little bit more wisely and see if we can move things forward. And rather than pitting it at us versus them, maybe we go, hey, they're going to be a part of this conversation, so why don't we bring them in? Well, why would you do that? You wouldn't do that for an average person. Because that's an average person. They're not average people. Maybe that's what we need to understand. But if you're not going to fix the system itself, then don't bitch about it being broken when you're continually allowing it to break. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from all of you. Speaking of climate, this right here proves in many ways it's a cult. It's the UN conference brought in a dinosaur. Now, the dinosaurs were voiced. This dinosaur here, voiced by Jack Black.
Listen up, people. I know a thing or two about extinction. Going extinct is a bad thing. And driving yourselves extinct? In 70 million years, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. At least we had an asteroid. What's your excuse?
I'm going to say this. I went to the dino fights the other day. We took the kids. My daughter Charlie just absolutely loved the hell out of it. She's 3. We had a good time. It was great. If I'm at a meeting, right? So I'm in a meeting for something that we're talking about trillions of dollars, and you bring in a dinosaur, and this isn't about, hey, we're thinking about relaunching Barney with a little edge, and you're a grown-ass man or woman who's supposed to be in charge of your nation and having a say in certain situations here that are massive? Really? Really?
You're headed for a climate disaster, and yet every year governments spend hundreds of billions of public funds on fossil fuel subsidies. Imagine if we had spent hundreds of billions per year subsidizing giant meteors. That's what you're doing right now. Think of all the other things you could do with that money.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's a lot. Think about all the stuff we could do with all the money that we don't blow, give away, trash. Every one of us has spent stupidly. Every one of us. Every one of us has made absolutely ridiculous purchases. Every one of us has bought stupid things. And you know what? You go, God, I get my spending under control. Not the government. Not the government. Government gives out. Well, why do they give out? Because they can. Got all this money. We can't just leave it here in the bank. We got to put it to use. And as a person who's in a government, you want to do what? You want to bring people to your state, to your city. You got to offer them subsidies. Look, the oil industry's got a ton of subsidies. Big Pharma. We can go down the line. And I think you'd be surprised. You start checking off boxes, and everybody's going to have a few on their team aisle that you'd be like, oh, wow. All that being said, if you're a grown-ass person and you're at the UN and in walks a dinosaur, and it's not real, it's Jack Black. It's not like they go, hey, guys, we got something to tell you. We found a dinosaur. I'm like, oh, and it's real, and we have it right here. And then you'd be like, okay, that's interesting. But instead, no, it's this.
You've got a huge opportunity right now as you rebuild your economies and bounce back from this pandemic. So here's my wild idea. Don't choose extinction. Save your species before it's too late.
By the way, there is nowhere, even in the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, where there is an extinction level event. There's none, not even in their, hockey stick crazy word. Zero. None. None. Zero. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. Tweet at us. It's a cult. I'm telling you. I was talking to my uncle there. We're going to talk about this. About cults. Because it is. It feels that way. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Not a cult. Great thing for your dog, though. Give it to my dog every day. I didn't change his food. They said, don't change the food, Chad. It's got all the stuff that the dog's food has. Your dog's food is shelf stable. So give it to Doodle. Just sprinkle on top of his food. You watch what happens. You tell us in a couple weeks how he is. And I said, all right, but, he's driving us crazy. But, okay. So we did. We started just sprinkling on top of his food. Here we are 18 months later. He's healthy. He's happy. He's bouncy. He is living his best life. That could be your dog, too. Keep your dog healthier, happier, and with more energy longer. Take care of their coat. Vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-369. It is amazing. K9 VitaSmart from Rough Greens. Get a bag right now for free. Free! Absolutely free. All you have to do is pay for shipping. ruffgreens.com/Chad. ruffgreens.com/Chad. You go there right now. You're going to get a bag for free. You pay for shipping or call 833-MyDog77. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
That is me. We're talking about subsidies. And everybody's like, because oil, big oil. Big oil's the problem, right? With in fossil fuels when it comes to climate change. It's huge. That's the problem. And they've got some issues. They've got some stuff that they're going to have to sort out, and they've had to sort out. They're an easy enemy. Mostly middle-aged white men. Absolutely easy to hate. They are the worst. Right? Like, that's the way a lot of people feel. Absolutely the worst. And there are issues out there that big oil has got. Are they having their moment? Well, they've been having their moment for years. And climate change feels a little culty at times. It does. It does. And it's always about money. Money, 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 money. Give me money. Give me more money. You get all these subsidies. Give me more money.
No government on earth can fill this gap alone. It can only happen because no government on earth has enough money. It can only happen with the full participation of the private sector. A key to winning this battle is deploying those trillions of dollars rapidly and effectively.
Yeah. Money, money, give me money, 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 money. Feels very culty. I'm sorry. It does. So how do people really think about climate change? What is, I think people are trying to figure out exactly their role in climate change. Everybody, we're playing a role in something. It's an environment. You're playing a role in your environment. If your room is your environment and there's stuff, your room might be messy. You might break stuff, spill stuff, right? That's your environment. What role are you playing in the environment? And everybody wants, we all want to fix it, which nobody ever wants to pay for it. It's like everything, like I told you earlier, free stuff sounds great as long as you don't have to fund the free stuff.
According to a new survey published by the European Investment Bank, a majority of EU citizens think their government will fail to tackle climate change, which Europeans view as the biggest challenge facing humanity this century. This comes ahead of the upcoming COP26 climate summit being held in Scotland, where the U.S. and other nations plan to double down on their commitment to cut carbon emissions.
Yeah. No. I mean, that is, it's insane. Sorry, that is not the there are other things out there that are far more pressing for the average person. But it's an easy thing to ask, right? I mean, it's an easy thing to ask about. Oh, it's climate change is the biggest threat to the history of the world, and we're all gonna, and it's over, and we're all, go look at Michael Schambachler's book. If you don't know who he is, he talks about climate alarmism and insanity in his book. And this is a guy who's used to be progressive, now more of a, of just a, left-leaning libertarian. But he talks about so much of this stuff and raises real good questions. And here's a guy who lives for the environment. But he also talks about the fact that more people will die from drug overdoses than climate change this year. That's not a pandemic? It's a fair question. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
It started at $6 trillion. It's at $1.5 trillion, $1.75 trillion. Could go as high as $1.9 trillion. We got to pass and find out what's in it. Nobody wants to pass anything. Frustration everywhere. They can't wait to spend your money fast enough. All the while, the Democrats, I look over there, you and some Republicans went past $1.2 trillion in the Senate. Actual infrastructure plan that's not being implemented because the other stuff of which you really had to have, you're cutting out of your $1.75 or $72 trillion spending bills, but you want to pass something because you don't want to leave it out there floundering. You don't want to leave it out there just dangling in the wind. Because you realize there's some writing on the wall right now. And if things don't change and you don't get anything passed of real meat on it, a year from now, we're not talking about how they won back the Senate and the House. We're talking about what kind of boat race it is. And the first indication of what's going to take place potentially next year, and again, all of this is subject to change. The economy turns around. People are feeling good, right? We got COVID under control to a point where we're not turning on each other. All of that could change. But at this moment in time, a year ago, Donald Trump got thumped in Virginia. All right? You guys do realize that. He got thumped in Virginia. Like, big time. He lost by 500,000 votes, by 10%. A year on, it is a dead heat between a known established candidate who thought he was going to have a walk in a park and somebody who people know, but not a candidate, and they're doing everything they can to tie him to Trump. But at the end of the day, McAuliffe finally had to give in and allow Biden to come as a Hail Mary to try to save this thing that is a dead heat. And when Biden got there, he just made it about Trump.
I ran against Donald Trump, and Terry is running against an acolyte of Donald Trump. Now he doesn't want to talk about Trump anymore. Well, Donald Trump, I do. To Donald Trump, the word Trump, like Trump did this to Trump, former President Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. I love this one. Donald Trump. Trump to Donald Trump. That's to Donald Trump. Now Donald Trump, loyalty to Trump and with Trump. That's who Donald Trump is. Come on. Donald Trump.
The nation's watching this in the political world, and the reason is simple. If Glenn Youngkin pulls off the upset, and right now it is a dead heat. They have doubled the spending that any other governor race has ever had there. If he wins, the Democrats know that this is going to be, first of all, they already know they're in a fight because naturally one party has power and we say, hey, you got way too much power. So we're going to take some of that away from you. Plus, it goes in ebbs and flows, right? One party has seats that are always vulnerable more than the other ones when it comes to that time of year, whether it's the actual presidential race and you're voting then, or the midterms that are going to be more vulnerable than other, and it's cyclical. And this time there's some seats that are going to be tough anyways. But you couple that with you're trying to tie Donald Trump to this guy, Glenn Youngkin. McAuliffe is trying to untie you to him because since August, your numbers haven't fallen off slightly in Virginia. Mr. President, they've collapsed. Every time there's a race, whether it's the state senate, even school boards, or every time, doesn't matter what it is. Usually the president is on the ticket somewhere. And now you've got two people who are on the ticket. And quite frankly, I think some people are saying, well, this might be a redo here. I can't vote for Trump this time, but I see what's going on. We got inflation through the roof. By the way, since August, his numbers really took a hit after Afghanistan. I mean, collapsing. Afghanistan, inflation, rising oil prices, COVID, immigration. People are frustrated. They are. GDP numbers out. GDP. Oh, right. We got some good GDP. How's this looking?
The U.S. economy slowing to a 2% annual rate from July through September. That's a sharp drop in gross domestic product from the more than 6% annual growth rates of the previous two quarters. The summer numbers from the Commerce Department reflect a COVID surge, which has to some degree abated. And with vaccination rates increasing and holiday spending, economists are expecting a GDP rebound to at least 6% in the current fourth quarter.
Yeah. You hope, right? You hope. But all of these are signs. People now, when you ask them what's polling side by side, coronavirus is not number one anymore. Now just pipping it, inflation. Now just inflation. Just inflation. Just. People are worried because the day-to-day world that we live in, people are asking questions about what are you doing? So they're looking at this president and say, well, you're not doing anything on the border. Let's not pretend that you are. You're not. Afghanistan, you didn't listen to your generals. And yes, Trump didn't cut a great deal. What kind of deal do you think it was going to be? By the way, you could have cut the greatest deal in history. Do you think they were going to follow it out of curiosity? Probably not. Inflation, economy, etc., etc. People are going to watch this because if this thing gets away, Democrats are already starting to realize it was way too close to begin with. That spells trouble. But if this thing gets away, watch what happens. You watch what happens. Because it will get ugly. And I said yesterday, you watch this too. If they boat race, both sides, the House and the Senate, watch out for the I word, impeachment. Why? Because politics is petty. If we know anything about politics, it's petty. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. I do. I know you think it's weird. Oh, Chad, what if I don't like you? Great. Tell me why you don't like me. I'm okay with that. I like conversations. So earlier we were talking about subsidies, right? Because, everybody complains, oh, the big oil's got subsidies. And I said, go look at all the companies that get subsidies. As everybody runs out to figure out how we can spend all this money and we're going to fix all of these things. Understand, when we talk about crony capitalism and things like this, everybody has to answer to somebody. I'm no different. I have advertisers I have to answer to. I've got, people that with, all the stations, all that. We all answer to somebody. So the big subsidies are. So I'm going down here. I'm looking. Oh, there's some energy. See, Koch brothers or Koch Industries, they're the 99th. Scripps Research Industry. You start looking, clean coal power operations, Dell Technologies. You start going up and go, okay. Well, Sears, Wells Fargo. You start, there's Dominion. Oh, General Dynamics, Verizon, AT&T, Bank of America. These are all subsidies. But the top 10 subsidies, the $2 billion range. Let's take a look at that, or the $3.2 billion. Amazon, Sempra Energy, Sherrine Energy, NRG Energy, Ford, Foxconn, Alcoa, Intel, General Motors, and Boeing. $15 billion in subsidies. So do you think if you went and you saw that these people gave to everybody, you understand the kind of games that are being played? Everybody answers to somebody. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. All right, kids. Car Shield. 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop. You choose said shop. They get them paid directly. Their administrators handle everything, the paperwork, getting people paid. You don't have, there isn't anything after you call them and you tell them this is what happens that you need to worry about. That's the whole thing. Let's take it off your plate. We'll get them paid. You pay a small deductible. They get prices to fit any person's budget. So if your car's got 5,000, 150,000 miles on it, this is what Car Shield is all about, protecting you from cover repairs. As cars go longer and farther, and especially in a day and age where people are having trouble getting cars in particular, and used cars are through the roofs, don't put yourself in a position where you have to make a choice and go overspend to buy something. Spend a little bit now and get yourself CarShield. You will not be disappointed. Over 1 million drivers have trusted CarShield. There's a reason CarShield cars go further. Whether it's your electronics or your transmission, they've got a plan that fits you and your budget and your car. Right now, go to carshield.com/Benson. You're going to save 10% right there. carshield.com/Benson. carshield.com/Benson. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
Wanna be boys? Give me a bowl of chili with plenty of peppers. One Mexican heartburn. Why don't you mugs grow up?
The Chad Benson Show, where independent, a la carte thinkers have a seat at the table and a voice in the dialogue.
I'll have what she's having.
This is Chad Benson.
So, no real news on what took place at the Bonanza Ranch with Alec Baldwin, the shooting, as far as we know now. There was a live round, but everything out there is up in the open. First of all, there should never be a live round anywhere near these guns. Ever, 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 ever.
Authorities confirming that the Colt 45 revolver handed to actor Alec Baldwin on the New Mexico movie set was loaded with a bullet fired from the prop gun, killing cinematographer Helena Hutchins, then piercing director Joel Souza's shoulder.
We believe that we have in our possession the firearm that was fired by Mr. Baldwin. This is the firearm we believe discharged the bullet. The actual lead projectile that was fired has been recovered from the shoulder of Mr. Souza.
The sheriff saying investigators seized roughly 500 rounds of ammunition from the set.
Yeah. People were worried. People were scared. People now, as more and more of this come out, that what in God's name were these people doing? Honestly. I mean, people had voiced their worries.
When the crew broke for lunch, the guns were secured in a safe, but the ammo was not. Actor Ian Hudson was playing an outlaw in the film, telling TMZ he feared for his safety when filming a shootout scene.
When they shot at me, I actually did feel the blanks hitting my face and my body.
Wow. Yeah. It is going to cost him a lot. And that, like, you don't want to talk like, but this will be the thing that lives with Alec Baldwin for the rest of his life. Obviously, people realize that. But at the same time, it's going to cost money-wise so much, not just to him, but to other people that were there. You shot the director, who was also co-producers, but you skimp. And what do we talk about? There are some things in life you skimp on. Right? You can go, you know what? I don't need to pay $4 for that. I can pay $1 for that. It's virtually the same thing. Some things, even in filming, you're like, you know what? We don't need to spend $300,000 on lighting. We can spend $60,000 and we'll work the rest of it. We can fix it in post. I don't know about the gun side of things. I'm going to think no.
We've had crew members explain to us this was a low budget production that they say was cutting corners. And so the film wasn't staffed perhaps as well as a larger film would be. People were having to share responsibilities. People were having to take on multiple jobs. And so that's where some people are pointing the finger as a low budget film that cut corners. And this is the cost you pay.
Yep. And sad. Person lost their life. Not only that, but there are people that this is how they were earning a living. It's been suspended indefinitely. This film will probably never be made. People are out of work and they're some people, a couple people, this was their first starring role in something. And now that's gone. I mean, there's a lot that, again, you don't skimp on that. Like you can go, I don't know if I really want to pay that much money for, we can do this, right? Like we don't need all of this. We don't need all this special effects. We can do some other stuff. But when it comes to stuff that may kill you, you might think, you know what? No. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text said program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Got some fun stuff to talk about. Interesting stuff to talk about. Some more on what's going on with the insanity of the giant spending bill that went to giant to it lost a little bit weight to it's went from Fat Albert to Karen Carpenter, and that's where we sit. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. 323-538-2423. I don't think you should say that about Karen Carpenter. I'm just giving you guys visuals. Sometimes you need that. That's just not very nice. I know. I'm not very nice sometimes. Sorry. But not sorry. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
What's it like when you are usually the canceller and then you get canceled? And we see that more and more, right? Because I think you need to realize, first of all, and the cancel culture, I call it the punishment culture because I think that's a lot of what this is. It's more about punishing people that you don't like their opinions or whatever the hell it is. That's what it's really about. And people who think moralistically they're better than everybody else. Here's I'm moralistically better than nobody. I sin, fall on my face, fail every day. I just throw it out there. That's it. Have I succeeded more than I failed? Absolutely. Do I know everything? God, no. In fact, the more I know, the less I know. Now you know. See the way that works? But for a lot of people out there, they believe it don't stink. And they, are out there throwing all of the rocks and stones they can while they too live in a glass house, and they get upset when people throw rocks back at them. We just saw it last week, right? The whole thing with Dave Chappelle and that chaos and craziness. But the person who organized the trans walkout is now being called on the carpet because, oh my God, you have said things against Asians and others. Oh, yeah. And people are calling you out for that. Chrissy Teigen, who used to be the queen of cancel and in everybody's face moralistically, well, she got popped and she finally spoke for the first time about it.
Chrissy Teigen, we should point out this is your very first television interview since the summer, and there was a big kind of cyberbullying scandal then. You were accused of bullying some people online on Twitter, and a lot of people took it very personally.
Yeah, I think the hardest part for me was realizing that, my goodness, this really had an effect on people. I think I used to kind of live in the internet. You felt like you weren't talking to anybody. You just threw things out there. You didn't feel like anyone was going to read it. And then I kind of became the person that was that person.
You became that person that was that person. But listen to her. This is the funny thing is, right? You got to listen to some of this other stuff. So normally I'm that person that's destroying everybody. But this time I was getting destroyed because I was bullying a teenager and saying horrible things about her, including go kill yourself.
You just kind of throw things out there and you don't know that you don't really think about the impact and the person on the other side. And I think about how much I've changed just in the past year and how much I've grown and learned.
But you were talking about the cancel culture, and that was when things got canceled, endorsements or TV gigs. Has everything is it back in place for you now?
The thing that was important to me was realizing, you lose it all. Your world is kind of turned upside down. Like, wow, I need to find out how I can be better, how I can grow from this, learn from this.
How I can be better, how I can grow, how I can learn. But, well, you just throw it out there and you don't think it has an impact on anybody. It does. Now, should it? No. One thing about that Chappelle thing, when he was talking about, is this what being canceled is all about? And he talked about, I don't live on the internet. I live here. This is real life. Unfortunately, well, yes, this is real life. The reality is, and it's a sad one, is what happens now, in many cases without context, years later, can affect you in the real world. Can affect you.
I don't know. I feel like I've done the work, and I just hope these people can, forgive and be able to welcome the fact that hopefully they've seen me be better.
I love it. I've done the work. What's the work? I did the work. No, what's the work? The work is not being an a-hole. Do you have to work at that? Is that like, you see people who struggle with addiction and they're putting in work every day. They want to chase that dragon. They don't want to go to a meeting. They want to go get a drink. They're trying to put in work. Your work is not being a judgmental a-hole. But do they have one of those? Is there a class for that? It's not very nice. By the way, I wasn't for getting rid of her or canceling her. I think all that stuff, the punishment culture, the same people that were cheering her on when she was going after people are the same people that wanted her. Because we have a mob mentality. Turn, spin, attack. Turn, spin, attack. We become mindless zombies that just want to attack each other. What if somebody told you to go kill yourself? You don't think it happens? You got to see some of the stuff sent to me. It's hilarious. I just don't think it's serious. Like, you've never met me. You don't know me. You listen to me. Usually, you hear the things that you want to hear, and then you attack. But yeah. We live in a world now where we don't want to hear what somebody else has to say, that they may disagree with your thoughts. So rather than say, you know what, I disagree with you, it's, I hope you die. I want to get you fired. What can I do to ruin your life? And it's like the tweet thing. That tweet hurt my feelings. Huh? Well, then don't read the tweet. Did it give you cancer? No. Well, then move on with your life. Move on. Sometimes that's what we got to do, but we live in this bizarre world. And case in point, this may be the weirdest thing that I've seen in forever and a day, but Jane Riviera. She was a influencer. Number one thing kids want to be right now. Number one thing. The number one thing. By a mile. Not astronaut, not pro athlete, not pop star, not actor or actress, not a doctor or lawyer or influencer. So she is an Instagram model. And she posted on her Instagram a picture of her in a sultry outfit doing poses in front of her dead father's casket, which was open. And he's a vet. That is insane. But as I always say, there's a reason that there is a camera on the front of the phones. But that's insane. But this is what we have right here. This is it. It's the world that we live in now. Sad but true. It's the world we live in. We live in this bizarre world of let's judge everybody. Let's, but it's about her. Like always. Everything's about everybody else. No, it's about me. Are you sure? No, maybe it's about you. Are you sure? No, maybe it's about me. No, sure. No, it's definitely about me. People ask me, when do you do more stuff on the internet? I don't. I probably should. It'd be great for the show, but it does get frustrating because we can't have conversations. I'm excited. Next week we have some people coming on that are like people I actually want to talk with because I think they have a viewpoint that needs to be heard. But it is. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine like going to your father's funeral and you're like, hey, quick, let me get a selfie. Quick, let me. Wow. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. So the World Series is going on, tied up at 1. Astros, Braves. One team, not in the World Series. The Cleveland Indians, soon to be something else. They chose the Guardians, went through this big thing, right? The Guardians of the City, all of that kind of stuff. The Guardians of Traffic. Hold on a second.
Leaving behind a name emblazoned on its uniform since 1915, the Cleveland Indians announced in July it planned to rebrand the team next season as the Cleveland Guardians. The move meant to put behind the long-standing controversy over the use of a Native American name and images.
Today, a Cleveland roller derby team, also named the Guardians, sued the ball club.
Wait, what? Yeah. Hold on, guys. Somebody else has that team name. And they're not happy about this.
Well, until a few months ago, the Cleveland Guardians meant one thing. It meant roller derby.
The Cleveland Roller Derby, established in 2013, filed the suit, saying the ball club has long been aware of its claim to the name and logo that features the winged guardian statues on the Lorraine Carnegie Avenue Bridge.
And in July of 2021, the Cleveland Indians changed that entirely with a single announcement. They blasted a longtime Cleveland roller derby team into oblivion.
I have to be honest. I didn't know there was a Cleveland roller derby team called the Guardians, but apparently there is. And they're not happy about this, and they want their damn name.
The lawsuit says the ball club failed to make a reasonable offer to buy the rights for the name and co-opted it anyway.
The last thing that we wanted to do was file this lawsuit.
The baseball team said it made the appropriate moves as far back as April to trademark the new Guardians name.
Trademark rights in the United States. The roller derby team has been using this name for 7 or 8 years.
Now the Cleveland baseball team issued a state, quote, "We have been and continue to be confident in our position to become the Guardians."
I wonder what you're going to have to pay them to be the Guardians. And do they have to just go right back out and pick a new name? Got to pay them something. They're going to be the most well-represented and well-dressed and, they're going to have everything they need. Just go to the Indians and say, look, here, what do you guys want? You want $100,000? Give you $100,000, you guys go away? So we can get the name. We can all move on. Is that it? Can't we just do that? Because you don't want those girls mad at you. They're skating at him. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Tweet at us. MyPillow gives you amazing pillows. That's what they do. MyPillow right now, though, has Giza Dream Sheets. Buy one, get one free. So this is what you do. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. Go up there, click. Check out all the deep discounts on everything. But the MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets are the best sheets you'll ever own. They feel incredible. You're sliding into the sateen feel sheet made from long staple cotton, grown in one part of the Mediterranean, between the Mediterranean Sea, Sahara Desert, and yes, the Nile. So when you have this and you got all the choices to choose from, you a 6-day money back guarantee. One of the things I was telling everybody, how many times you bought stuff like sheets in particular, and then you wash them once and they don't fit? Not going to happen with these. Not going to happen with these. Get your Giza Dream Sheets. Buy one, get one free right now. 6-day money back guarantee. MyPillow.com. Use the promo code Benson. MyPillow.com. Promo code Benson. Save big on all of their amazing products. MyPillow.com. Promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where we reach across the aisle and occasionally poke someone in the eye.
NFL football tonight, Thursday night. We do our first pick today. Cards, Packers. I got the Cards. 6-1 versus 7-0. Cards are also missing J.J. Watt. Looks like he's done for the year. That guy can't stay healthy. Going to the Hall of Fame, but what could he have been had he been healthy? I think people always ask that question. But yes, the Cards winning tonight. Mighty Mouse beating him because too many missing weapons for Aaron Rodgers. And as great as he is, missing your two top receivers and arguably the best receiver in the game in Devontae Adams, I think it's going to be too much to ask. I have the Cards winning tonight. That being said, it's time to move on to the thing we love to do. This holiday season, we count stuff down. I love my Hallmark movies. You guys know that. I love gobble, 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 eating up turkey. You guys know that. This time of the year makes me smile so much. But Halloween, a few days away. I see it out there. And I've been watching horror movies. Watched The Exorcist last night, which, by the way, came in number 4. Jaws was 3. But now we're on to number 2 in my horror movie countdown. Arguably my favorite movie of all time.
Welcome to Chad's Halloween countdown of the best horror movies of all time. You've already heard 10 through 3. Now it's time to hear number 2. And it's a classic that is still going to this day. Halloween.
Halloween night. A small American town, 15 years ago.
Michael?
Halloween.
I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
Halloween. The night he came home.
One of the greatest little independent movies of all time, I think up until a few years ago, was the #1 grossing independent movie ever. $300,000 is what it cost. You know the stories, William Shatner. Mask is the mask of Michael Myers, but if you watch the trailer, you're like, oh, cool. Then you hear him say Michael and all this kind of stuff. When you look at the movie, they say Michael. When you look at the credits, it says The Shape. The Shape. The music you hear that is so menacing, done by Deborah Hill and John Carpenter. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills has made an appearance in it. Yeah. The little girl. Yeah. The little girl in there. She is in, Kylie Richards is in this. And when she's in the house, watching television as they all are, you can see the thing pop up on the screen, which was a little trailer that was going to be for a movie that John Carpenter was working on. Movie itself cost nothing. It grossed tons of money and still does to this day. And continues to do so to this day. And will continue to do so over and over again. It is not over by any stretch of the imagination, even though next year Halloween ends. We'll see what that looks like. But my favorite movie when it comes to Halloween, absolutely. The representation of the boogeyman, the person in the closet, the person under the bed, that shapeless is incredible. And I love, love, love it. That is number 2, Halloween. On Chad's Scary Movie Countdown. Number one tomorrow. Not even close, with the scariest movie I've ever seen. And still love to see it. You guys have a great rest of your day. I see Friday. Night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.